Welcome to Rise and Grind this morning. My name is Katie. I will be taking you through 30 minutes of a body weight and free weight workout. Hopefully this workout will energize you and get you ready for the rest of your day. So again, today's 30 minutes is meant to energize you, kind of get you moving, and warm you up for the rest of your day. It's certainly not meant to annihilate you. So if you have some free weights or any type of weighted household object, feel free to grab those. We won't use them too much during this workout, but if you would like more of a challenge, grab some weights and let's get started. All right, so we are going to start off with something called a gunslinger. This is also known as a standing cat-cow. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna clasp our palms together, and then we're gonna extend our arms in front of us. We're gonna round at the shoulders, tucking the chin into the chest. And then we're gonna pull our shoulders back, keeping them nice and tight. Slight arch in that low back, not a lot of arching. And then we're gonna go right back into the rounding of our shoulders, pushing our arms in front of us as far as we can, and then retracting the shoulders, so pulling them back and then keeping them nice and tight. So we'll do one more nice and slow here, holding for a good amount of time in each position. Again, we're just warming up the upper body a bit. All right, next we're gonna go into something called an around the world. So go and clasp your hands together, bring them all the way up overhead, and then we're gonna tilt to one side, making a circle-like sweeping motion all the way around our body until we reach that starting position again. So we'll go through 2 more times in the same direction, nice and slow. Reaching those arms out as far as you can. And then we will reverse the direction after this rep. All right, let's go ahead and switch directions. You can clasp your fingers together or you can press your palms together for this movement. Whatever feels best for you. Reaching up as high as you can and around, pushing those arms out in front of you. All right, go ahead and circle those arms back down to your sides. Next up, we've got some knee hugs. So first thing we're gonna do here, we've got that quarter squat. This will help with stability first. Then we're gonna pick up one leg just below the knee and then come all the way up into a standing position. So we'll alternate sides after each rep. Moving nice and slow, nothing too fast here, making sure you've got a good base of support here and that your balance is in check as you lift your knee to your chest. You can take it at your own pace. Again, making sure that form is in check. Oops, lost my balance there a little bit. But that's okay. All you got to do is reset. We'll do one more on each side. Nice job. All right, shake it out just a little bit. Next up, we have a lateral squat. So we're gonna do 3 on each side. We're gonna hold for a little bit longer than usual in the bottom position, just so we can further get a good stretch in our hips and our glutes. So feet together to start, hands by your sides. We're gonna lunge to one side, raising our arms in front of us, holding here for just a little bit longer than usual. And then we're coming back to center, arms come back to our sides. Let's go 2 more times on the same side. So here you wanna push your hips back like you're about to sit in a chair. Nice job. One more rep here. Sink those hips down nice and low and back to center. All right, clear some space on your other side now. We're moving into our next 3 reps. Here we go, same thing, sink those hips down nice and low, and then drive through your leading foot to come back to center. 2 more. And last one. Nice job. All right, we've got one more exercise or movement for our movement prep today. And this one's called a hamstring to scoop. So we're gonna stretch out our hamstrings a bit too, give them a little love, a little more love. So staggered stance, one foot in front of the other, heels on the floor, toe is pointed up at an angle. We're gonna shoot our hips back. You should feel a good stretch in the hamstring of your front leg. So for me, my right leg is forward. I'm feeling that in my right hamstring. Next, you're gonna take your arms and you're gonna scoop all the way down, reaching up as high as you can, and then circling those arms back down to your sides. So let's do 4 more for a total of 5, and then we'll switch sides. So hips go back, scoop those arms all the way up, and then circle on down to your sides. So we'll speed it up just a bit, keeping form in check. Always making sure that we're sitting our hips back first, feeling the stretch before we start that scooping motion. All right, next, let's switch sides. 5 reps here as well. Hips go back first, and then we scoop with our arms and upper body. Making sure we're getting the good range of motion with every part. Last rep here. All right, shake it out. Grab a sip of water if you have some. Take a little breather. We're gonna move into 2 strength circuits. Each circuit has 3 exercises. We're gonna get through each circuit 2 times, and then we'll end the workout with a little finisher, and of course, regeneration to cool our bodies down. All right, so first exercise is going to be a squat with some shoulder mobility added in. So we want about a hip to shoulder width stance here. We're gonna squat down low, and then we're gonna take one arm and rotate back just a little bit, squeezing the shoulder blade, coming back to center. The other arm goes back to center once again, and then both arms go back at the same time. And then back to center, and then we stand on up. That's 1 rep. We've got 5 total. So with this one, so we've done bent over rows or bent over tees before, where we come out to the sides with our shoulder blades. So you should be feeling that same squeeze in the shoulder blades with this shoulder mobility piece as well. So let's start our 2nd rep. Find your squat stance, plant those feet into the floor, squat on down, arms hang in front. One arm comes back, right back to center. Other arm goes back to center. Both arms come up, back to center. Go ahead and stand on up. So with this one, I know it's easy to kind of lean or fall forward, but do your best to keep your weight distributed evenly throughout your feet. All right, let's go for our rep number 3. One arm, the other arm, and both arms. And reset. Here we go. Nice job. And last one, I'll turn so you have a different angle. We're squatting down. One arm comes back, the other arm comes back, and both arms come back. All right, nice job. Notice with those shoulder mobility raises, we are moving almost as if we're forming a Y. So we're moving out at a 45-degree angle versus straight out to our sides or straight out in front. All right, good job. Next, we are going to come down to the floor for some narrow stance and wide stance push-ups. So we're gonna start out, you can come onto your toes, or onto your knees, hands and wrists underneath the shoulders to start. What we're gonna do here, we're focusing a little bit more on our triceps with this movement here. So our stance should be no wider than shoulder width apart here. You're gonna come down and then push back up. So instead of having your elbow flare out like this, you're gonna push it straight down and back. So your forearm is staying straight from your wrist to your elbow. All right, we've got 5 reps here. Here we go. 1, 2, reset if you need to, making sure those hands and wrists are underneath your shoulders. 3, 4, 5. All right, give yourself just a little bit of a break. You can go ahead and shake those shoulders out. Next, we're moving into a wide stance. So this is going to be a stance wider than shoulder width apart. So again, you can come onto your nose, or not your nose. Don't do that. Your toes or your knees for this one. Just make sure that your stance is a little bit wider than shoulder width apart. And then you're gonna go ahead and perform a normal push-up, keeping your chest about 1 to 2 inches off of the floor in this bottom position, and then exploding on up. So as we go down, give me a big inhale. As we come up, I want a big exhale. Let's do 2 more. Nice job. All right, we're gonna flip it on over to our back. We've got some weighted sit-ups. Of course, body weight will work just fine. What I want you to do is bend your knees so that your heels are on the floor, toes can be pointed up. If you can keep your feet flat on the floor, that's great too. All right, so walk your feet out just a little bit in front of you here. If you're using just body weight, I want you to start with your arms behind your head. We're gonna curl on up or sit on up as far as we can, keeping our arms up overhead, slowly rolling down 1 vertebra at a time until we're back into the starting position. Again, coming up as far as we can, slowly rolling down to keep the tension on our core, making sure that you're feeling this movement through every piece. All right, we have 10 of these. If you have a weight, go ahead and hold it up overhead. Same thing with those arms. You don't want to let them drop in front of you as you sit up. We're using our core to pull ourselves up. Remember that. All right, here we go, 10 reps. Exhaling on the way up, inhaling on the way down. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, last one here, 10. All right, go ahead and come on up for round 2. Back to our squats with shoulder mobility. So feet a little bit wider than shoulder width apart, squatting down, reaching on back, making sure our shoulders are staying nice and tight, feet are planted on the ground. All right, 1 rep done, 4 to go. There's 2. You can keep a slight bend in your elbows as you raise your arms out to the side. That'll just help protect your shoulder joint. It'll also help you stay in control of that movement. So let's go down for 4. And back down for 5. Nice job. All right, we're coming back down for round number 2 of our narrow stance and wide stance push-ups. So For narrow stance, find a stance about shoulder width apart. If you're on your knees, back those knees up just a little bit. Here we go. Remember, forearm stays pretty straight here. We're focusing on our triceps with this movement. Of course, our chest is working, our shoulders are working, but we've got a little more help from the triceps with this variation. All right, let's do one more. Okay, go ahead and widen that stance and let's get right into it. 5 reps. Inhale here, exhale here. Last one. Nice job. All right, flip it on over. We're gonna go right into our weighted or body weight sit-ups. Ten reps. Find your starting position. Tuck that pelvis into the floor. Core nice and tight. Pull the belly button into the spine. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 2 more. Don't let those arms drop. Last one. 10. All right, nice job. Not only does that one burn the core, but it also burns those shoulders with that overhead piece. All right, circuit 1 is done. Grab a sip of water. If you have some nearby, I hope you do. Catch your breath just a little bit, and let's move on to circuit number 2. So first up, we've got alternating lateral squats. So we already did squats with our warm-up or lateral lunges. This time we're gonna alternate sides. So what we're gonna do here is start with our feet about hip width apart. And I'm gonna correct myself. I said lateral squat. We've actually got alternating lateral lunges since our feet are going to be moving and they are not going to be planted the entire time. So feet about hip width apart. Make sure you've got space on both sides of you. We're gonna lunge to one side, arms come up in front, back to center, lunge towards the opposite side, back to center. So we've got 10 reps total, 5 on each side. Here we go. Nice job. 2 reps done already. With each lunge, see if you can sink those hips a little further. Sit those hips back a little further. There's always time to be better, always room for improvement. Nice job. 2 more. Perfect. Awesome job. All right, next up, grab your weights. We've got a bent over row. So feet hip width apart to start. Slight bend in our knees always. We're shooting our hips back, bringing our chest close to the floor. We're gonna row up and back with our elbows for 10 reps. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Nice job. Come on up, set those weights down. We're gonna come down into high plank. We've got a 30-second hold here. Let me start my timer. So high plank means we're on our hands and our wrists. They are stacked underneath our shoulders. If you find that this is too much pressure on your wrists, you can certainly go ahead and come down into a pillar bridge on your forearms. Just make sure that your elbows are under your shoulders. All right, here we go. 30 seconds. Try to keep your head up throughout the 30 seconds. Try not to let that chin tuck down into the chest. Gaze stays in front of you. Of course, we don't want any extension of the neck either. We're almost there already. 3, 2, 1. Come on down. Nice job. All right, I'm going to give you a little bit of a break before we get right back into our lateral lunges. I said it right this time. Shake it out if you need to. Take a few deep breaths in through the nose, out through the mouth. Roll those shoulders back and forth. All right, here we go. Again, making sure you have adequate space on each side of you. Feet hip width apart to start. 10 reps total, 5 on each side. Here we go. All right, we are halfway. Last 2. And done. All right, we're gonna pick up our weights again for our bent over rows. So feet hip width apart, slight bend in those knees, shooting those hips back, bringing that chest closer to the floor. In this position here, make sure that your back is flat. So pull that belly button to your spine, pull those shoulders back and keep them tight. Here we go, 10 reps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, almost there. 9, 10, and come on up. Nice job. Set the weights aside. Back down for our high plank or pillar bridge. I'll leave that up to you. 30 seconds on the clock. Time starts now. Keep breathing throughout this hold. Deep breaths in and out. Squeeze every body part, lower body, core, and upper. Everything stays tight. Almost there. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Nice job. All right, take a little bit of a breather. We are going to end today's workout with a finisher. So here we've got 15 seconds of 2 exercises. We will take a little bit of a break after we are done with both before we repeat. So first movement is going to be a pillar march into a skip, if you feel comfortable with that. So what we're gonna do for that is we are going to lift opposite leg, opposite arm. Whoops, moved a little bit too early there, I got ahead of myself. So it's like we're marching in place, moving opposite limbs. If you wanna add more of a challenge, you can add a little skip to the movement. This will just increase that heart rate even more. So 15 seconds there, and then we're going to move into a rotational squat with a chopping motion. So 15 seconds on each side with that. What we're gonna do, what that looks like is this. We're squatting down, reaching our fingers to our opposite toes, and then with the other arm as we come up, we're reaching up at a diagonal motion, rotating our body away from the midline. So what that looks like again. So full body's involved, 15 seconds one side, we'll do 50 seconds on the other. And by 50, I mean 15. Okay, we're starting off with our pillar march or pillar skip in 3, 2, 1, go. Landing nice and softly with those feet. Again, you can move it into a nice little skip. Nice job. All right, moving right into a rotational squat. Doesn't matter which side you start on. Here we go. Getting nice and low with that squat. Core stays nice and tight. 5 seconds on this side, and then we switch. All right, switch sides. Really get that whole body involved here. Almost there. And rest. All right, one more round and then we'll cool it off with some regeneration. Okay, not a lot of rest time here. We want to keep the intensity a little bit higher. Here we go, pillar march or skip in 3, 2, 1, go. You want to start off with a march and then move into a skip, that's fine too. Again, keeping the feet nice and soft with the landing. And done. We're into a rotational squat. Here we go. Five seconds. And switch sides. Right into it. And done. Nice job. All right, let's take it on down to the floor for some regen. We've got just a few minutes left. All right, we're gonna start off with a supine lat stretch. Tuck that pelvis into the floor, nice flat back. Palms across the chest. Extending those arms behind you, reaching back as far as you can, pressing your back into the floor at the same time. Circling those arms down to your sides, resetting here. Same thing, making sure your back is always flat, no arching here. Let's do 2 more. Pushing back as far as you can. Circling those arms down to your sides, nice and wide. The last one here. All right, pull those knees into your chest. Let's sit on up. We're gonna move into a 90-90 stretch with our lower body. So front leg is at a 90-degree angle, back leg is at a 90-degree angle. Knees are in line with the hips and the ankles, as you can see here. All right, next we're just gonna walk our hands in front of us, nice and slow. So here you should feel a good stretch in the hip of your front leg. Then we're gonna walk our hands out to the side just a bit, twisting here. The low back is now involved. Walk your hands back to center. Come on up, let's switch sides. So your other leg should be in front. Now, same thing, 90-degree angle with both. Walk your legs, walk your arms forward as far as feels comfortable. And then we're gonna walk them over here for a little spinal twist as well. All right, walk your hands back to center and go ahead and flip it on over into child's pose. We're gonna hang out here for just a bit. So calves are tucked underneath our thighs. Walk your hands forward. You can rock side to side. You can hold still, pressing your arms into the floor for a good lat stretch. Whatever feels good for you, go ahead and do that. All right, when you're ready, go ahead and slowly come on up. Give me a few shoulder rolls in each direction. and come to a standing position. That is going to be it for our 30-minute rise and grind today. I hope you feel energized. I hope you feel ready to take on the rest of your day. Thanks for joining.